What's up, everybody? John with SB California Bushcraft. Welcome back to the channel. Today for this episode we are going to be checking out the Mora 2000, my first Mora that I've ever owned, so stick around. Alright guys, so if you saw my last review on the Camillus, I was not a huge fan of that knife, but hopefully I become a bigger fan of this particular knife because this is the first one I've ever owned. This is the Mora 2000, and this is the first knife I've ever owned. This was a just out on a limb knife. I've never had a Mora before. My first knife that I've ever owned was the Bear Grylls Ultimate Pro Bushcraft knife, and I do still have that knife, and I do still love it. I mean, it works great, but I don't carry it with me because I've got my OKC Bushcrafter. But still, let's talk about the Mora 2000 now. Now, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about Mora knives for a long time, and I've never had an interest in it. And I saw this one knife, I think it was the Cans Bowl, and I was kind of interested in it, but I wasn't interested in paying the price for it. So I thought, you know what? Let's get a different Mora just to test it because I want to see how it feels. And I found this knife. This is the Mora 2000. Now, it does come in a very nice green sheath. The retention on it is pretty decent. I'm shaking this thing pretty hard. It's not coming out whatsoever. Now, one good thing about Mora sheaths, though, is that if you are left-handed or right-handed, so I'm right-handed with my knife, but I can use my knife with my left hand. But still, if you're left-handed, you can change the knife around, put it right back in the sheath, and again, it still has very, very good retention. And I can pull the knife out and use my left hand in case my right hand were to go bad. I can use my left hand to actually do some good work with this particular knife. Now, let's go ahead and pull the knife out of it. Now, the sheath itself is a hard plastic sheath. Not too shabby. It's got a leather lanyard, and it's also got this little strap on it. And I found out from Dave Canterbury. Oops, the tag's still on there. Oh well. I found out from Dave Canterbury that if you wear a pair of overalls, you can actually attach this guy onto the button of your overalls and wear it that way instead of having to put it on the belt loop. Now, I've tested this knife on my belt before. It's very comfortable to carry, no problems there whatsoever. Now, let's talk about the good things and the bad things about this knife. Now, blade steel itself, the blade itself is 4.3 inches, and that's not a bad blade. This is not a full tang knife. Now, the blade itself is 12C27 Sandikai steel. Handle material is a hunting material. It's a hard plastic rubber. Thickness of the blade is 0.1, and of course, the weight of this knife, if I was EDC, it'd be about 5.8 ounces. Which still isn't too bad. Now, let's go ahead and test out the initial sharpness of this blade. Paper test. Wow. Look at that. Keep in mind, I have not used this yet, but wow, look at that. Pretty impressive, actually. I'm going to go ahead and tear this envelope up because it does have my personal info. I'll probably go ahead and burn this in the fire or something. But still, pretty impressive. So let's go ahead and try it on a piece of wood here and let's see how it does. Got a nice thick piece of wood here. I think this is pine, I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and try it. Wow, look at that. Keep in mind, I have not made any changes to this knife whatsoever. But look at that. Very, very nice. Cuts very, very well. Now let's go and try to do a little bit of feather sticking. Wow. Look at that. I mean, look at that. Isn't that impressive or what? And I have not made any changes to this blade whatsoever. And this is very, very impressive. Look at that. It's cut, it's biting in very good. The handle's very, very comfortable. And look at that. Just wow. Just wow. Very impressed with that. Now, the one thing that I did notice about this particular knife is that you look very closely at the spine, you'll see that the spine is rounded over. So it does not have that 90-degree spine that many Mora knives are known for. So I can't use this knife. Look at that. You can't even get a spark off. So I can't use this particular knife to strike a ferro rod to be able to make a fire, but I still though, it's a very good knife though. Cuts very nice. I mean, look at that. I mean, it's very sharp too, and I'm really impressed with just how sharp it is. I mean, just wow. First Mora knife I've ever actually owned, and I actually do like this knife. Now, only negative thing about this particular knife is the fact that it does not have a 90-degree spine. Does that deteriorate me from liking this knife? The answer is no, it does not, because I do carry a fire steel that does have a it does have a strike on it, and that's what I was trying to say. Jesus, I'm having a hard time getting my words out today. I do carry a fire steel that does have a striker, so I can definitely use that to make a fire with this knife. Definitely not a problem. Now, would I carry this knife with me for everyday use, especially for bushcrafting? I would say yeah, but I would not take this in my bug out kit because, again, no 90-degree spine. Even though I have a fire steel in my bug out kit that does come with a striker, but if I lose that striker, I want to be able to have something to strike that ferro rod if I need to make a fire. So now let's talk about the cost. Now, I found this knife through Walmart, surprisingly, through Walmart's online store through another retailer, and then the cost of the knife was around $28. Before at the time of this video, I looked up this knife on Amazon.com to see if I could find it. The cost of this knife on Amazon, average price on it was around $22.99. That's actually a pretty good deal for a knife, so it's $6 less than what I paid for. So all in all, is this a worth knife? Is this worth it? I would say yes. This is a perfect little beginner knife. Am I going to carry this knife with me? The answer, I think I will, because I can use this knife for the simple utilitarian tasks and I think the one thing that this knife I can definitely use it for, this may sound kind of stupid, but you never know, but I could definitely use this knife to be able to cut my food and stuff, and skin some meat, make some food if I was to go hunting. I don't know if I would ever do that, but you never know. But if I were to go hunting, I could use this knife to skin some meat. So, and I can also use this to help process maybe cut up some vegetables or cut up some fruits, especially from camping. But yeah, I do like this knife a lot. I mean, look at all this stuff. I mean, I was able to cut a good amount of wood with this thing. Whoops, let me see if I can get that out of there. Ah, there we go, got it. Oh, darn it, oh well. But still, look how thin that is, especially with this knife. I mean, I'm just impressed and all. Would I recommend this knife as a starting knife? Yeah, I would. Even though it doesn't got the 90-degree spine, obviously you can buy ferro rods that do come with a striker. So if you have that with you, that's perfect. Is this a knife I would recommend? Yeah, for the price, definitely. Rating out of 10. Well, without the 90-degree spine, it does kind of bring it down just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little. So I would say the overall rating, I would definitely get this knife as a 7.5. But I would definitely recommend something like this with the Mora 2000. So as always, I appreciate you guys joining me for this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos. And don't forget to leave me comments, and I'll be happy to answer as many as I can. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Bye. I like it. Before I go, I know I said I gave this knife a 7.5. I'm going to change the rating a little bit on this thing, just because of how nice it fits and how good the handle feels as well. I'm going to take that in consideration. I'm actually going to give it an 8. So, sorry about that, guys. Last minute change, but still worth it.